Oh yeah, what's going on, fam? It's your man VACAY-J, and we are back with another video, another recap of Tyler Perry's Ruthless Season 2. And we're gonna recap and review episode 16. And again, this episode definitely revealing a little bit more details leading up to the other episodes. So now listen, if you missed any episode at all, definitely go back and check out all my recaps. So this way you don't miss anything and you get caught up on everything. All right, so let's get into episode 16 of Tyler Perry's Ruthless. So now this one is called Retribution. The description reads, Elder Mother Marva questions River about his dealings with Ruth and why they're always meeting and talking. Clark tells Dikahn about Oliver and Lacey and receives punishment himself. River tells Ruth what he discovered in the trunk of Lilo's car. So that's where we left off, fam. We left off with River picking a lock, being nosy. You know, he smelled what he smelled and he saw Lilo in the trunk. Got pretty sick there, right? So again, he discovered it, closed it back up real quick, because who does he hear coming around the corner? Of course, nosy Elder Mother Marva. And she's like, what's going on with you? Why do you look sick? He's like, oh, I ate something bad. And she's like, you talking about my lady's cooking? He's like, no, I ate something bad off the ground. She's like, what, a strawberry? He's like, yeah, he's just going along with whatever. And she's like, oh, I should punish you. I should send you to the punishment trail. He's like, no, I learned my lesson. So now she questions him, though. She's like, why are you always talking to Ruth? You guys are always talking. He's like, not really. She's like, listen, I don't want you talking to her at all. All right. I don't want to see you around her. Stop talking to her. Do you like her? He's like, no, I don't like her. I don't like her. So she's like, listen, don't talk to her anymore. And of course, she's smelling that body that's in the trunk, too, by the look on her face. So now Elder Mother Marva, she rolls over back to the punishment trailer where Melinda is, right? She's like, yeah, they interrupted me. We got some unfinished business. She's like, no, Elder Mother, I learned my lesson. And she goes ahead and she is still just like merciless. Like Elder Mother Marva just does not care. And she wants to put more juice in her body. And what does she do? She juices her up even more. Like, again, this is the ultimate punishment trailer. And this is where everybody goes. And she's like, yeah, I smell my flesh. And Elder Mother's Marva's like, I do too. I smell it too. Like, she is just, again, real ruthless with all of that. And she's like, I learned my lesson. Please, let me go. Let me go. And she's like, I don't believe you, right? So now River, he runs to Joan, closes up the windows, tries to close the drapes. And he tells her, listen, I went to that car, opened the trunk, and Lilo is in the trunk. She's like, no, that's not good. This is terrible, because Lilo is the one that brings the money, right? And they open up the safe. The highest has a combination to the safe, and they open up the safe, and there's a computer in there with a hotspot. And what they do is they transfer the money from there into another account. And she's like, this is bad. This is terrible. How are we going to do it? It's over. She's just like, it's over, because he's done. But River has a plan. He's like, hey, listen, I know that we can still get in that safe with a special key. I believe that Ruth has the key. She has the master key. If we can't get to the highest, then maybe I can get Ruth to give me the key so we can get into that safe and we can get this money and get out of here. Of course, Joan, she is just like, oh, it's over. I don't trust her. I don't trust Ruth. And she is just not hopeful at all. Meanwhile, in the forest, we see Dikahn and Clark, and they are looking for Tally and the rest of them, right? So they can't find them, but Dikahn definitely approaches Clark and says, hey, listen, I want to know the truth. When I go to the punishment trailer to see Oliver, is he going to tell me, that he's been with other ladies on and everything else like that? And Clark is like, yeah, he's going to tell you that. So Dikahn knocks him to the ground. He's like, you could have told me that all this time. You've been lying to me. And Clark is begging for mercy. He's like, listen, please. Oliver's one of my best guys. I didn't want to give him up. And he's like, well, you're going to suffer for that. You're going to suffer for that. Dikahn is not playing. He's like, yo, you lied to me and you shouldn't have lied to me. I'm going to send you to the punishment trailer. So, of course, Clark is like, please, no. He's begging. He's like, come on, man. Why are you begging like that, man? That's crazy how you just begging the next man. He's like, get up and go find those people. Go find those people and tell me what's going on. So you see who's running the campus, the Raku campus. It's Dikahn. Meanwhile, back at the punishment trailer, your favorite spot and your favorite girls are in there. But we see Oliver in the other punishment trailer. And of course, your girl Lacey is just trying to give him hope. He is hopeless, and she's just trying to give him hope and say, yeah, just continue to try and everything. And he's like, no, it's over for us. There's no more us. You know, I'm going to get them to do something to me to take me out. Like, I want to be done with this. You know, I can't believe I fell for this. And she's still just trying to really just give him hope, but he is absolutely hopeless. He's like, I'm just going to do something to make them take me out, to make them really just get me out of here, you know, like go to the Raku. She's like, no, don't do it. Don't do it. He walks away. He's like, stay strong, because he's like, there's nothing I can do at this point. She keeps calling her name. And of course, Paula is just like, hey, you know, calm down before somebody hear you. And, you know, she's just like, hey, somebody's going to hear me. I don't care. You know, I'm going to tell everything that's going on. And, you know, Paula's like, listen, if you tell, I'm just going to say that you're lying, that you know what you're talking about. Meanwhile, Oliver, again, he's just rubbing his head. He is hopeless. Like he doesn't see a way out of this thing. And Lacey, she just doesn't care anymore. She's like, I'm going to take everybody out. You know, we're all going out. If you know, I'm going out, everybody's going out, right? Everybody's going out. So now, of course, River rolls up on Ruth. And he's like, listen, I want to tell you something. You know, Lilo's car's in the back. And guess what? I found Lilo in the trunk. You know, and she's really kind of like, so, okay, I really don't know, you know, Lilo or anything. You know, what does that have to do with anything? And he's explaining to her, like, listen, Lilo was bringing the money. We will open the safe. And now he's gone, so he can't bring the money. And we can't open the safe to get to the money. You know, and she's like, so what does that mean? Like, she's really acting coy, acting like she doesn't know what's going on. And he's like, listen, I know you have a master key. We got to get into that safe. There's a hot spot in the safe. We can get to the computer and we can move the money over. And she's like, well, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have any master key. Of course she has a master key. She's not going to tell him, but he knows that. He's like, listen, you have 8 keys. And I know one of those keys will open up the safe. And look at her face right there. She's like, oh, well, he does know. I guess he does really know that I have the keys. And she's like, well, I'm not doing any of that. You know, I'm not doing any of that. And then she starts singing and she knocks River out of the way with the laundry basket. And she's walking around because around the corner, she sees from afar. And, you know, Ruth, she's super smart. She sees the highest rolling up. So now River's hiding behind a trailer so he doesn't get seen by the highest. And he rolls up. He's like, oh, okay, I didn't know you have a voice and all of that. And River's on the side like, I hope he doesn't see me. And she's like, how you feeling? He's like, I'm feeling great. Obviously, he's off of that stuff and he's feeling good. He's not on that high anymore, right? And he's like, hey, questioning her about, hey, do you know about Lilo's car? She's like, oh, I don't know Lilo. And again, she's acting coy, acting like she doesn't know what's going on. And he's like, yeah, it's kind of weird, you know, that his car's here, but he's not here. Do you know Lilo? And she's like, no, I saw him one time in passing, but that's it. He's like, don't you find it weird that his car's here? And she's like, yeah, and everything. And she's just like, I don't know. You know, that's her thing. I don't know. Again, she's acting real coy like she doesn't know, but she knows everything that's going on. River is still hiding on the side. And she's patting her face because she's hot. He's like, I'm sorry, I turned off the AC. It's like, bro, y'all in a trailer home. You don't got AC in your trailer. Like, listen, bro, that is not heaven. That is hell. Okay, that is a living hell. But of course, she's, you know, stroking his ego, making him feel good. Like, yeah, you know, you're the highest and everything. And again, he's still really trying to find out why Lilo's car is here. But he has no idea who to ask, who to talk to. So again, they have a okay conversation and he walks away and she's like, whew. So River goes and she's walking and in the distance, you see Elder Mother Marva and Melinda and she is falling down. If you see all the way in the background, she's falling down because she just got a whole lot of juice in her. She doesn't know what to do. So of course, you got the highest. He goes to Joan and he's like, hey, Joan, what's going on? She's like, I don't know. He's like, have you seen Lilo? It's weird that his car's here, but, you know, it's gone, right? Like he's never here. He's not here to bring the money, and it's real weird. Something is off, and she's like, "Oh no, I don't know anything." Again, she's acting coy too. She's acting like she doesn't know. Nobody knows anything. And he's like, "Why don't you know?" And she's like, "Well, because," and this is a good excuse. Like, this is a good one. She's like, "Because, I don't have the gifts that you have." Like, you know it all and you get it from the Raku and everything else like that. So he's like, okay. He leaves and she's like, "Whew, that was a close one." Now you got Crazy Zane. She's in there with Ruth. And of course, she's giving Ruth all the info. And she's like, yeah, Lacey and Paula, they're still in the punishment trailer. And Oliver's in there too. And, they're talking about, really snitching and giving up all the information and everything else like that. But also talking about killing themselves as well. It's like, it's just real bad because they've been in that punishment trailer for a very long time. Right. And of course, as she's giving Ruth the information, Ruth is just kind of putting all the dots together because she found out from River about Lilo's car and about the cartel and about everything else like that. Right. So, of course, who comes in? Elder Mother Marva again. She's always sneaking up on people. Right. So she's rolling in there. She's like, listen, I want you to go tell Dikahn that I want to see him. Right. So she rolls over to Dikah's trailer. Right. Ruth does. Knocks on the door, and he comes out, and of course she puts on a little face, little eyes, looking in his eyes, trying to, seduce him or whatever. And Dikahn's like, what do you want? He is not impressed by her. He's like, yeah, Elder Mother Marva wants you, da-da-da-da. He's like, all right, well, tell her I'm busy. Tell her I'm on a mission. She's like, okay. And then she's like, you sure? She's like, yeah. So she's about to walk away. He's like, better yet, I got a better idea. Why don't you come inside? Because he sees how she's looking at him, right? Why don't you come inside and let's talk? Of course, she got a little smirk on. She flirting with her eyes and little lips. She knows what she's doing. You know what I mean? So as she's about to walk away, he's like, nah, come on inside. So they go on inside. And, she's like, yeah, I just want to find out what's going on, And she proceeds to kind of try to seduce him with her eyes and everything else like that. And he's like, you're trouble. I don't need you here. Stop talking. And she's trying to come on to him, but he's really kind of like pushing back on her. And what she's trying to do is she's trying to manipulate him to get information out of him, right? Because she's trying to find out what's going on with Tally, what they're going to do with the other people. She's like, yeah, it really turns me on when you tell me your plans to get people and this, that, and the third. And he's like, I'm not telling you anything, like, for real. And then he talks about, well, you used to be a madam, right? Or you used to be a bottom chick. And she's like, no, I'm neither of that. He's like, all right, well, get out of here, right? So they get out of the trailer. And then Clark rolls up and says, yes, Tally, da-da-da-da-da. So they found him in the woods. They jump on their four-wheelers and they are out. Boy, they about to go get Tally. And the rest of them, they are not going to allow them to go back to civilization and tell what's going on with the Rakadushi camp, right? So they are rolling out. They speeding out of the campus. They going to find them and they going to get them. You already know they going to get them somehow, some way. All right. Meanwhile, Elder Mother Marva and Melinda are walking around the campus. I don't know why she got to walking everywhere, like since the day to the night. And, she's like, Ruth talks to Elder Mother Marva. And she's like, hey, did you tell Dikahn that I wanted to see him? She's like, yeah, but he left, though. He left. He left out. Okay. So now they're just like walking away. Meanwhile, Zane, she's bringing food for Paula and for Lacey. And that's cool. That's her sister and everything else like that. She's like, hey, I got some food for y'all. And they're like, yo, we can't eat this food. It's like, why? She's like, do you smell that? Like, she's bringing food to this dirty punishment trailer and got a body in the trailer. So she's like, they're like, listen, we don't want to eat nothing right now. Like, for real, we can't eat with this body up in here like this. So again, they're talking about trying to get out, but at the same time, Lacey's just fed up with everything, and she's just really going to give up information to whoever's going to take that information, right? So, they're like, listen, we'll take one bowl, and Lacey's like, give the other food to Oliver because Oliver needs food too, which is cool. Like, she still loves him, even though she betrayed him, right? And even though Oliver is just like hopeless at this point, she still wants to look out for him for whatever reason. She still wants to look out for him, So they're trying to look out for each other. Meanwhile, Melinda, right, Ruth and Elder Mother Marva, they're in the trailer. And Elder Mother Marva's like, yo, did you learn your lesson? Melinda's like, yeah, I learned my lesson. And she's looking real down. Of course, she had a whole bunch of juice going through her. And Elder Mother Marva's like, listen, Ruth, teach her the rules. She needs to know the rules, right? So she's like, yes, Elder Mother Marva. And Elder Mother Marva walks out. So Melinda is really down. She's like, yo, I don't understand. The highest said, I did good, but then he sends me to the punishment trailer. And, Ruth was just like, you don't get it by now? You really don't understand what's going on? And, Melinda is really kind of talking down about, the Raku and the highest and everything else like that. So, Ruth gets some like ointment or whatever to try to, help her with the burns on her arms and her legs or whatever. And again, Melinda is just really like, man, this is just not what I thought it would be. And Ruth was just like, listen, you just got to learn the game. You got to understand how this thing works. And you got to be cool. You know what I'm saying? So she apologizes to Ruth how she was acting towards her, giving her attitude. And Ruth is just like, it's all good, whatever. But she's telling her, listen, you really need to understand what's going on here. But Ruth is still playing a role, and she has to play the role because Melinda's not in on it. She's like, listen, he's the highest, and you really have to, just obey and, just not do anything crazy. Like, you taking out the deputy wasn't part of the plan because all that is doing is just bringing pressure back onto the campus, and it's going to mess things up, right? So now we see Tally and the crew, and they left, right? And what's happening is that the guy, he's telling Tally that he used to be the money man to take the money to the sheriff. So we find out that the sheriff's department is in on it as well, of course, because Lilo is, the son of a senator, and he's a parole officer as well. So, of course, the sheriff's department is in on it as well. So we're getting all this great information, right? But in the background, you hear those four-wheelers, those ATVs, vroom, vroom, vroom. So they hear it, like, yo, that's them. Let's get out of here. So they just run. And, of course, that's Dikahn and Clark and the rest of them chasing after those who left, Tally and all of them. Will they get away? Are they going to get away? Will some of them get away? Will they capture all of them? We shall see in the next episode of Tyler Perry Ruthless Season 2. So this was the recap of episode 16, recap and review. Hey, thank you for watching. Appreciate it. Definitely comment below. And if you're new, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you won't miss any new episodes that come out. But definitely I want to hear your comments and your theories as to what you think is going to happen next. They always got to give us a cliffhanger at the end. So we'll stick around. And I'm glad they didn't have a mid-season finale as well. So I'm looking forward to the next episode of Ruthless. If you are too, definitely type below. And you know what it is. It's your man, VACAY-J. Appreciate all of you for watching, your love and support. Until next time, salute.